Welcome to Business Wit's Better Business Results. My name is John Witt, and I'm your host. And today our guest is Rhonda Schur. And Rhonda is a LinkedIn strategist and a referral marketing expert. Thanks for joining us, Rhonda.
Thanks, John. I'm happy to be here.
So, LinkedIn strategist, referral marketing expert, share how you got into this space.
Well, you know, it's funny. Some people are just born talking, and that was me.
Okay.
And I've always been a natural connector. So I realized very early on in my career, which was actually as a paralegal, that I wasn't cut out to have a job. I was really cut out to be a serial entrepreneur. And so what it really started with was me writing a book called The 2-Minute Networker, which was all about just teaching people how to connect. In fact, the secret to the book was 2 things, John. How do you be successful in networking? You do the 2 things your mother taught you not to do. Talk to strangers and master the F word, follow up.
I like that, follow up. Oh, that's a great story.
So when LinkedIn came out, I just transitioned from training people on how to be very effective in business networking and how to use the online largest business platform, LinkedIn. And they're still very much intertwined. But I stay in my lane of showing people how to leverage LinkedIn and literally book 2 to 10 appointments a week using that platform.
So I like the referral marketing expert and connection strategy, but why is this so important? How does this fit for your purpose?
Well, think about it. How many people hate cold calls? I mean, really, they'd rather have a root canal than make a cold call. So LinkedIn is a platform where you'll never run out of prospects. And I look at it as a platform that it's not about selling, it's about serving. How many people could you find that would be your ideal client that you can reach out to and say, hey, John, came across your profile, noticed that we share some common connections, love to connect with you and learn how possibly I could be a resource for you. Best regards, Rhonda. What did I do? I just said, hey, I found you. Looks like we share some stuff in common. Let's connect. I just started the first virtual cup of coffee. Pretty easy.
I like the word you used, the serve word.
Yeah.
Because at some point, I think we all have to figure out how we can serve others best.
Absolutely.
And you've leveraged your natural penchant for talking, taking it to the online world, to the largest social media network, LinkedIn, and you're making a difference for a lot of lives. Yeah,
and the thing that's really interesting is back in October of 2015, Microsoft bought LinkedIn for $26-something billion. And that was a game changer because now there's probably a 70% or better chance, John, that if somebody were to Google you, your LinkedIn profile is going to show up on the first page of Google, regardless of whether you have a website or not, right?
Yeah.
So if it's the largest business networking platform, doesn't it make sense that that's where they're going to go to look and say, well, who is this guy, Coach John Witt? Where did he go to school? Who does he work with? What kind of results do his clients get? You're not going to get that necessarily on a website, or you might not believe it because you could put anything there, right? So it's a platform where you can learn so much about people and just start that relationship and then take them offline.
Well, and I think you're right. And the other thing is recommendations, right? Recommendations are third party.
Yeah.
Because I could put whatever I want on my LinkedIn profile. Not a good idea, but I could.
Yeah.
But the recommendations are really going to be the key. So you're going to be able to get recommendation testimonials as well.
And there's 3 areas of that. So there are endorsements, and the endorsements are people just saying, yes, John Witt is very good at coaching, right? So you want to take the first 3 areas that you are most focused in, because that's what people see on the profile. But the recommendations, one of the things that people leave out about recommendations is they don't put a date. So I've looked at profiles that have recommendations from 2009. I have shoes older than that, right? So when you look at that, you want to make sure that you are constantly giving recommendations to people, but you also have to ask for them, because that's the thing. Somebody cannot give you a recommendation if they don't have a profile on LinkedIn. So if you see a recommendation, guess what you're going to do? You're going to click over and look at who that person is potentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, testimonials are a great one, okay? On your LinkedIn profile, most people don't know this, but underneath each section, there's a place for 13 places to put what is called rich text media. So that can be a video, that could be an audio, that could be this show just put as a link on a profile, right? So what I like to do is make sure that my clients have video or audio testimonials, because if they can get to know what other people think of you, they're way more likely to want to engage.
Yeah, absolutely right. But people make decisions all the time on what other people think, even if they don't know who those other people are.
I mean, literally, do you go to a movie without looking at how many stars? Do you go to a restaurant without checking the Yelp reviews? Well, if you're going to hire somebody in the LinkedIn world, and you're an amazing coach, but there's a lot of coaches out there. Would you agree?
Yeah.
There's a lot of coaches. So if somebody recommended you, or I just found you in a search, the first thing that I want to know is, okay, why are you different? What do other people think of you? And in fact, even in the offline world, the reason that we got to know each other is because I spoke at an event and 5 people gave a testimonial about how amazing you were, which led to me giving you a referral.
Yeah, absolutely. And so testimonials, super powerful, super powerful. So let's talk about who most benefits from your services. I mean, everybody can't. I'm certain everybody can't, but who benefits the most?
So who most benefits, except when you say everybody, I don't deal with the job hunters. That's a completely different lane, okay? But who benefits most from working with me are coaches, authors, speakers, business owners, CEOs. I literally have worked with everybody from, one of my clients developed lighting for people that grow marijuana.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yes, well, that's big business now.
I mean, I had somebody else with smart kitchens, right? Smart ovens. And I have a sign that says the kitchen came with the house. But I know more about smart ovens than you could ever imagine.
All right. So that's a good list of people that can really benefit from your services. What are there that, pick that group of people and say, what are their top 3 challenges?
Well, number 1, their top challenge is they don't know how to get leads. So they're really struggling to get leads. They're still doing it the traditional way. They're going to networking events, and that works. But here's the real problem. They don't have credibility. And the analogy I like to use, John, is if you look at somebody's LinkedIn profile, and they're a superstar, they're really a superstar, their profile shows up like they're going to a black tie event and they're wearing their running clothes. They are not dressed for the party. So when you look at them, they have no banner, their headline isn't there, you don't know what they do, and most important, they don't even tell you how to reach them. So that's one of the challenges. And then the third challenge is they have no clue how to use this platform that literally is like walking into the biggest mall and finding exactly what you want. Everything that you want is there. But what do you need? You need the directory, or else you're going to be circling the mall forever trying to find what you're looking for, right? So those are the 3 basic challenges that most people find.
So what's your process for serving those challenges with that audience?
So the process is actually pretty straightforward. The first thing that I want to know is, what do you want? What are you looking for? There are some people that are on LinkedIn for credibility. They are not looking for clients. So they know that their job is, they look at their calendar, they know what city they're going to the next month. They don't have to find clients. But they also know that those people that they're seeing are going to check them out. So it's a credibility factor. Okay, I call it the 3 Ps: presentation, prospecting, profit. So the credibility piece is the presentation. Okay. But for most people, the process is they're really looking to prospect. So the first step is I help them to show up like the superstar they are, okay? They have to have consistent branding all across the board. So if you have a website, you have a Facebook page, whatever it is, you want all of that branding to look exactly alike on every platform. Secondly, you also want to let people know who you are and what you do. It's got to be very highly optimized. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, so what I do is I literally put them through an intake form, and this is the analogy my clients tell me, John. It's like going to a personal trainer. They hate me when they're filling this out, okay? Because I'm actually forcing them to look at their business. I'm actually forcing them to tell me, what are the 10 reasons people work with you? What makes you different from your competitors? Who are you really looking to connect with? Because you kind of get the generalization. There's a cosmetic company out there, and somebody might say to the woman, well, who do you work with? And she'll say, well, anybody with skin.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. But my rule is the smaller the niche. So the process first starts with an intake form. Then the magic happens when we go over the intake form. We literally go through and I ask you questions and you're like, wow, this is amazing. Now they have total clarity. Then I literally take all of that, upgrade the profile so they look like the superstar they are. And then on the back end of it, we spend about an hour and I show them how to actually find their ideal client, how to engage, and most importantly, create a tribe.
Okay. A community.
A community.
Community.
Yeah.
That is a nice process.
It is.
I enjoy it. And I'm sure it delivers. In fact, let's talk about results for just a minute.
Yeah.
Do you have give me a good success story?
So one of my clients is a ghostwriter. Now, as a coach, you probably know a lot of people that are ghostwriters. There are a lot of those people out there. But here's what made him different. Not only was he a ghostwriter, he got your book to the #1 on bestseller status, and then he created all of the funnels so that you could actually get your course sold if that was what you were looking to do, get on stages. And his profile was okay. You know, I lovingly say it's okay, could use a little tweaking. And I upgraded the profile, but most importantly, it was the keywords and the branding. And he called me the second month and said, Rhonda, you'll never believe this. I just made $40,000 in my first 30 days working with you.
Wow. Wow, that is a great story. $40,000.
Yep.
Now, I'm certain that he had an expectation when he first started working with you were going to do some things, help with LinkedIn, and that was a big surprise that he made $40,000. He wasn't expecting
He didn't
that.
have a system. I gave him the system on what he needed to do.
Was he surprised about anything else as you went through the coaching and the results?
He was. He actually didn't realize that one of the biggest things was the headline, because that's what SEO, looks for in terms of that. And it's interesting because I have another client who's an event planner. Now, if you know anything about event planners, it's a very competitive industry. There are a lot of companies that spend a lot of money. And a woman reached out to me and said, I'm up for a very big engagement. It's a $30,000 engagement. And the person that referred me told me, get your LinkedIn profile up. That's what they're going to look at. You can interview like, an absolute superstar, but they care about LinkedIn. And previously, she had done a lot of events, very experienced. And she had a lot of experience in the pharmaceutical industry. But her profile looked like she was a wedding person that did those kind of events. So I upgraded her profile, and she got that $30,000 gig. So if you think it doesn't matter, you actually just look at the results.
Today you can't hide. Right?
You
can't hide, right? So you better go get it done.
Well, what I tell people is take a look at your LinkedIn profile, show it to somebody else who knows what you do, and basically ask them if you were referred to me based on looking at that profile, would you do business with me? And the answer is do one of two things. Fix it up or take it down, because you don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
Right. Well, okay, so that's a little bit of almost a tip, right? So what, for people that are watching this video, what are some of the tips that you could give them that they could do on their own? I mean, I know you could certainly help them, but.
So the first thing is go get a banner. Okay.
Get a banner. Okay.
And it's free. You can go to canva.com. Okay. Canva.com. And it's free. They literally have the template. Okay. Create a banner. The second thing is get to know what the privacy settings are. I can't tell you, John, how many people don't understand privacy settings. So they literally are sending people to their competitors by virtue of the fact that they don't know the privacy settings. The other thing that's really important is LinkedIn gives you a certain number of characters for each section. Take advantage of all of that real estate. Tell your story.
Yeah, if you leave a character off or two, that's not a big deal, right? But you don't want to leave half.
Absolutely. And the other thing that a lot of people forget, they don't put their contact information in. There's literally no email, no phone number.
I've seen that.
And dead links. And it's like, well, how do you expect somebody to find you? Amazing, but that's so common. So don't assume that people are going to do the work to try and go to your website, search for your number, search for your email. Make it simple, sweetheart. Show them how to reach you.
All right, so 3 good tips. What about 3 things to avoid?
Oh, that's a great question. 3 things to avoid. So the first one is when you're sending a connection request, and I don't like the always never, but never just hit connect.
Right.
Okay.
Personal message?
Personal message. And even on your phone, because about 54% of people will use LinkedIn from their mobile device. So on the right-hand side, you'll see the 3 little dots. Those are very important on LinkedIn. Go to the 3 little dots and just see the drop down, and it says personalized invite. So it might be, hey, John, it was so nice seeing you at XYZ event. Would love to connect, learn more about your business, see if there's a way that we could be a resource for one another. Thanks in advance for accepting my connection. Best regards. Personalize that request. If you just hit connect, chances are it's going to just fall into a black hole.
And nobody's going to remember. Even if he connects, he's not going to remember, because that message is what really is the memory.
And then the second thing is, after you accept my connection request, send a thank you note.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thanks for connecting. I appreciate it.
But take advantage of that to say, love to know more about you. Tell them a little bit about what you do. Very little, not a sales pitch. Remember, LinkedIn is for serving, not for selling. And my tip, which works really well, is just give them an opportunity to book some time with you. Get a system like Simply Book Me, Calendly, Acuity, Schedule Ones. There's a ton of them out there. Give people an opportunity to just book 15 minutes. Call it the virtual cup of coffee. But give them an opportunity to engage with you.
Yeah.
Take it offline.
Yeah. Those are excellent. I want to, you've been running this business for how long?
Oh my gosh. Well, consistently, I wrote the book in 2007.
Okay.
And
so over 10 years.
Yeah, I've been doing this a long time.
Long time. I've been doing the coaching, the same thing. Every now and then I look back and I go, oh my gosh, you've been doing this for a long time.
I started when I was 3.
So as a business owner, right, running your own practice.
Yeah.
What are your 3 biggest lessons?
3 biggest lessons. Number 1, know how you're showing up with your digital footprint, because people will Google you, okay? So make sure your LinkedIn profile looks like who you are. I can't tell you how many superstars I see, and they don't show up that way. And get rid of the I, because really, this as a coach, people want to know what's in it for me, right?
Yeah, it's my everybody's favorite radio station.
WIFM.
Yeah.
There you go, right? So the first thing that business leaders need to know is they do need a LinkedIn profile, because 94% of the Fortune 500 people and all of the business owners in the world get their content from LinkedIn. And it's actually more effective than Twitter or Facebook. So number 1, have a really good LinkedIn profile. Number 2, learn how to use it. It's a gold mine. You will never run out of clients. The goal is, yes, find them on LinkedIn and then get them off, right? Take them off LinkedIn, set up a call, go meet them for coffee, invite them to something, just like you would in any kind of conversation. Just take them to the next level, right? Yeah. And then the third thing that I would say to business owners is always keep the mantra, LinkedIn or any kind of platform, it's about serving, it's not about selling. Don't just keep giving your business cards out and say, this is what I do if you need me. Like, really, I don't even know you. Why do I want to do business with you?
Well, 1 in 20 or 1 in 50 or 1 in 100 might say, okay. But those are not really good odds.
And I'll tell you.
Got to hand out a lot of business cards.
But I'll tell you, I had one gentleman, actually from Pakistan, who sent me a very nice connection request. And then the follow-up was, just said, hey, Rhonda, I work with a lot of speakers, authors, coaches, and experts like yourself, helping them take their PowerPoint to the next level. If you'd like to learn more, I do the first 3 at no charge. If you like what you see, then I will do it for you. If not, my gift. And he put a bunch of samples. And I was so impressed that I looked at his samples. I said, you know what? I really need this.
I got to give this a go.
And I was absolutely shocked. And I have given him already 5 referrals. This guy is amazing. But he did it the right way. He first sent the request. And then he very, very nicely said, this is what I do. If it would benefit you, hey, give me a test ride. It doesn't cost you anything. If you like it, great. If you don't, keep the 3 it's on me.
You can refer him to me, because I do a lot of PowerPoint stuff. And I don't have that resource.
This guy is amazing. I literally said, raise your prices. And
okay.
I got
he doesn't raise them for me. But
yeah. And the thing that was kind of interesting is also, and it kind of ties into what you asked, right? And I wanted to get to know him. So I said, tell me a little bit about yourself. And he said, I so appreciate your referrals. I'm saving money because I'm getting married.
Oh.
And so it became very, very nice because we had a human
relationship.
connection.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so then I told him my cool story about, marrying my husband twice. And, he loved the story. And it's just, that kind of an interchange. So you really want to get to know the people that you're connecting with the same way that you would person to person.
I want to ask a question because you'd made this comment about a supermarket greeter. I want you to tell that story.
So back in 2010, after 28 years of marriage, I got divorced. And I'm sure many people that you've come across have had life fall apart. Mom died, 28-year marriage fell apart, cancer scare, $800,000 house was short sale for $360. Kids were empty nesting. And I thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to make money? I was speaking and, training, and that market went away, as you know, right,
Mm-hmm.
back then. And I thought, okay, how am I going to do this? And I went out and I got my life insurance license because in a previous life I had sold Legal Shield. And I went back on LinkedIn and I found that the mortgage brokers, right, had my market. Everybody that has a home needs life insurance. So I used LinkedIn and I basically said, are you working with anybody for mortgage insurance, right? Because here's the deal. If I didn't make, at a minimum, $6,000 a month in the door, I was going to go through my savings, going to go through my retirement, and I literally pictured myself as a supermarket greeter.
Yeah.
So I did that, and within a year, I was winning contests. I was doing great. I hated selling life insurance, right?
But it did pay the bills.
It paid the bills. I kept my license, okay, just so I could refer to other people. Jumped back into LinkedIn full time. But here's the best part of the story. I ended up marrying my ex-husband again. And in fact, I call him my husband and my husband. Didn't have to change my name. And the kids are ours. And life is great.
Well, I love the resilience because, life throws us curveballs.
It does.
And sometimes it takes a pretty heavy curveball before we figure out how to step up and get going. But you did a great job. That's a great story, and I'm real excited for you. And
well, if I can do it, John, anybody could do it because I knew, and I joke about this, right? This was in the days of Obamacare, right?
Yeah.
So I literally had to make $6,000 a month in the door. I was not giving out my nails or my hair, okay? That was the deal. And I didn't want to touch any of my savings. And I thought, oh my gosh, I could do this for a year with my savings, but then I could picture myself just being one of those people greeting people at the door, right? And I said, well, okay.
In the Costco, hanging out the little food samples, yeah.
Yeah, right? So what I decided was, how could I do this? What's the fastest path to the cash? And I knew LinkedIn was that supermarket mall, right? Like the Mall of America. I could never run out of places or people. And I started out from a place of serving. So I would reach out to these people and I'd say, hey, I don't know if you know this, but you actually have your privacy settings set in a way where you are literally sending people to other mortgage brokers. And they're like, well, how do I change that? And I would tell them. And then they would say, well, what can I do for you? The give and take.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would just say to them, hey, I'm curious, are you working with anybody to help your clients? Because, here's the deal. They're not going to die. They're probably just going to get a critical, chronic, or terminal illness. And the kind of life insurance I sell, you don't have to die to use. And they introduced me to everybody.
Yeah, that's a great line. And we're segueing a little bit to life insurance, but, I think if you die, that's the easy solution. Right?
Yeah.
When you get really sick, that it's a big
You go
problem.
broke.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Rhonda, I thank you so much for coming and spending a little bit of time with us today. Your wisdom, your knowledge, your insights, they're priceless.
Thank you so much for having me, John. I appreciate it.
So, Rhonda, I understand you've got a free gift for our viewers.
I do. I created a LinkedIn planner. And literally, if you spend about 30 to 60 minutes a day planning out what you're going to do, you can book that 2 to 10 appointments a week if your profile's in line. So all you need to do is go over to www.Rhonda, RHONDA, and you will just fill it out, and that planner will show up in your mailbox.
Well, and there's instructions to get 2 to 10 appointments a week.
Well, the instructions to get the 2 to 10 appointments a week are part of the overall plan that I do. But what it does do is it gives you a way to plan out, because we didn't even get a chance to talk about the magic of posting.
Right. We didn't talk about. We'll have to have another interview.
Absolutely, because John, if you're not LinkedIn, you know what happens.
You're left out. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about this experience. What'd you think?
I thought this was awesome. You're an absolute natural at interviewing. The setting is perfect. And I think this is absolutely brilliant. And as a side note for you, okay, just to give you my thoughts, if you had an ideal client that you wanted to bring in, I would, and they were somewhere local, or even not, because you can do this on Skype, I would literally call them, say, hey, Rhonda, I found you on LinkedIn. I think what you do is fascinating. I have a show. It's got a very large reach. I'd love to interview for my show. And they're going to go, well, what do you do? And the next thing you know, that person finds out more about you. They're going to be your client. This is actually a lead generation tool for you.
But and originally that was the original plan, was to bring somebody in and actually do a coaching session with them online, because that way people could see what a coaching session is. Because most people really don't know what it is unless you've been through it. You know.
So, do you know who Mel Robbins is?
I know the name.
So Mel Robbins started out with a TED Talk, okay, and then she did a couple of books. She called the 5-second Rule, which is pretty amazing.
Now I remember. Yeah.
But her last 2 books have literally been audio books of her coaching people, and then asking questions, and then she does the summary of the coaching. You could do the same thing. That would launch you like a rocket.
Yeah.
Model that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You're coming in
awesome.
and learning some things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This will be, we'll